Warframe clan. So for the month of August, I'm not gonna do the anime for the third week of August. I'm not gonna go over different animes for August. So this one is going to be a manga review. So typical anime, I'm gonna postpone that for the following month. But this month was gonna be a manga review because manga and anime go hand in hand anyway. So I'm gonna go over like 12 different mangas. I'm gonna see which of the 12 is best suited to be posted for you guys to watch. Um, Also, I don't want to lead you guys towards wrong information or wrong stuff that you want to see. You don't. I don't want to. I have to go to a bizarre amount of questionable anime and questionable mangas because for the love of all that is great, for some reason the mangas or manhwas or manus or I don't know what the hell is going on. Been checking out, scanning through them ridiculously on my free time when I get to like first week of August every day for about maybe about I don't know 20 or 30 minutes, and then I give up, and then I go to the following day, then I give up, then I go to the following day. But I was only able to find like 12 of them. But I had to go through all the, for some godly reason, romance seemed to be a thing that's been taken over the manga world. And of course, people who watch anime will never know about that, but it's ridiculous to the amount of romance that's out there right now, and it's mostly due to um, I wouldn't say for any type of individual that are into a certain romance with with women and men and romance with gender swapping and all kinds of weird stuff. But at the same time, I understand that you know every now and again you want a different type of romance, which is good, and most of the times you want a lot of that, which is also good. But that was the same thing last month and the month before that and the month before that. So I guess 2022 is the month of nothing but romance. Romance of how my parents met, how my father and my mother met, or marrying a king, or how this poor guy got sucked into this world and met this hot chick, or how this girl got out of poverty by meeting some rich guy, or how two poor people came together and discover each other, that they love each other more than anything else, or how um, two people of the same sex kind of found each other on the workplace, or a lot of romance stuff there. Both straight romance stuff and both bisexual romance stuff. But that's not the issue. The issue is that there's so many of them. I'm just trying to get to the science fiction stuff. I'm just trying to get to the action stuff. I have to go through like 20 different romance stories before I got to the page that actually have the action stuff on it. And every now and again, you will see a sci-fi stuff. But if 2022 is the year of the romance in manga, by all means, go for it. Do you, and enjoy that while it lasts. Because just like the Scorseses and just like the Camerons, they eventually are gonna shit on everyone who are into comic book movies now, because that's not the norm in their times. It's the norm now. So, you know, but I understand that. I understand that people want a different type of entertainment. That why comic books are now the norm for action and adventure, and why their type of movies aren't the interest. The same as in manga, why romance is now the thing in manga, and what was once like say Trigun from the past is not the norm anymore, or Naruto is not the norm anymore. So that's fine. But for a balance of anime and a balance of manga, these are the 12 I'm going to go through. First one is called Aliens Area. Now, see, Aliens. I think I might have gotten this one. I can't enlarge it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's Aliens Area. So the A is left off and the L is left off, but it's called Aliens Area. So this manga, I'm gonna check out this manga first, and then the next manga, which is a bizarre manga, and it's not meant for kids. It's not. It's like a berserk type manga. It's definitely not meant for kids. Do not let children get a hold of this. Do not allow children to get a hold of this. This is like berserk type manga. All right, very bloody, very cruel, meant only for adults. And this is called Datu no Arcage, or Dentou no Arcage. Basically, it's about what happens before the French Revolution and what happened that led to the French Revolution. Things that happened that led to the French Revolution. Basically, it's about the poor versus the rich, and the rich versus the richer. It's about rich versus rich and poor versus rich, and then rich versus poor. But it's mostly about the rich one-upping the rich and trying to use the poor, and then the poor trying to survive in the whole process. And it's kind of historically accurate, but at the same time not historically accurate. It's basically taking the ideals of the French Revolution and make a spin-off story with regards to that. So it's kind of very interesting, and it's a bloody way of actually showing how the French Revolution came into being, or the actions of one man that led to the changing of the French Revolution, or the downfall of the French Revolution. I'm not even exactly sure, but it's associated with the French Revolution, so I got to get deeper into it. But it's very bloody. It's not for kids, and I mean bloody. I mean, this image of this guy crying is small peanuts. What's happening off screen is a horror show, so not for children. This, on the other hand, is something that I would say falls in the line that can be seen by children, but at the same time cannot. Why I say this? Because my favorite, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, actually he's not, but he's one of my favorite. He is Neji Totsumo, or at least I'm saying that right. Well, it's not Neji, it's more like Nihai, Nihai, or Nihei goes. Nihei Tostumo, or Tostum, or Sumo. It's hard to say Japanese name when you're English dialect, but it's Nihei um, Sumo, or Tustumo, or Tustomu. So, I mean, I've been reading this guy's manga for years, and it's still to this day hard for me to say his last name. That's why I usually call him Nihei or NT. I mean, I don't really want to call the guy NT, but that's what I call him. I've watched him since Blam. I watched him since Knights of Sidonia manga, and my favorite manga by him, by miles, and still to me better than a lot of horror mangas, is Biomega. I watched that damn manga from the beginning to the end, and I was fascinated by how this guy did actually biological warfare and biological creatures, and how they mutated and how they fused, and the dark use of colors and dark use of light and shadows. This guy is a master at using blacks versus whites when it comes to his art style. Now, when it comes to him being an author, I would say he's about average. So this manga is called Kanan. Wait, Kana. How is it? Kania of the Great Snow Sea. I have to say these things correctly. Kania of the Great Snow Sea. Now, this is also a manga right now, and it's also an anime also right now. So you could go and check out this anime. I'm not sure if it came out this already or it's going to come out. So I'll have to check out the anime sometime next month, because I'm not going to do that this month. But you could check out that anime, Kanan of the Great Snow Sea, by the author Nihei Tsutomu, and by the artist uh, Takemoto Itose, Otoi. Oh, Takemoto Itoi. Okay, so that's the manga artist that did the pages for Nihei, And typically Nihei does his own artwork for like stuff like Biomega and Nisus Sedona. But for this one, for the Great Snow Sea, it was Toei, Takemoto Toei, and uh, I guess Nihei was just the author for it. But this anime has come out, and it's to celebrate, I think, Polygon Studios or Polygon Productions, their 40th year in the manga. I mean, 40th year in the anime business of making anime shows and anime television series. So this is their 40th year, and this manga is the manga that I believe that they chose to make into their 40th anime series, or for the anime production. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this was an anime before it became a manga, or it was a manga before it became an anime. I believe it was a manga before it became an anime, so I still gotta look that up. But the main purpose of this video is not to look up devils in the detail stuff. It's mostly to go over the 12 different mangas I'm gonna go through before I put up the two of my favorites out of those 12 for the month of August. So this is one done by Nihei, which is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, manga artist, as well as now he's an author. Or he was always an author, but primarily he was a manga artist. Was Nihei Tsutomu or Tsutomu? Hard to say his last name. Still again. So he's my main one. This is the one I'm gonna go after more than anything. Aliens Era. I'm gonna go after Aliens Era after him. So I'm gonna check this out first, and then I'm gonna check out Aliens Era next, and then I'm gonna check out Danto no Arcade, because I know that's incredibly brutal and violent, and I need to calm down. I don't need violence in my life right now, but at the same time, I want to know how revolutionary accurate they are depicting the French Revolution, or things that led to the French Revolution, because it's mostly fiction, but every now and again a manga or an anime throw in something that's real. So now I'm going from Kanai of the Great Snow Sea, Kanan, yeah, of the Great Snow Sea, and go to Comic Artist Survival Guide. Now this one I believe is a manhwa, or no, or is a manga. It's a manhwa. It's a manhwa. Not like a manhwa WA. I think it's a manhua with UA. So I believe it's a manhua, not a manga. Um, I have to look that up again. I didn't put that down. I believe it's a manhwa. And every now and again I watch a manhwa. I mean, I have on this. I'm going to check out Ravages of Time again. I want to see where Ravages of Time has kept up since the last time I made a Ravages of Time video, and that was like way back, maybe about a year and a half ago. I was speaking about the Ravages of Time manga, which is not really a manga; it's a comic book, a Japanese comic book, made by um, Cho, one of my favorite, actually my third favorite comic book artist, next to Grant Morrison, that does the X-Men, that did his first appearance in the X-Men. But when it comes to comic book artists, he's my third favorite comic book artist. Not because of his artwork, not because of Cho's artwork, but because of the fact of how he set up his story and his perspective of characters within his world, his environment. That's what I like. How his characters fit in his environment. So this is Comic Book Artist Survival Guide, and that's one of them. And the next one after that will be uh, the magician Kunan sees everything. So I'm very fascinated to know about this manga, because every now and again you get, okay, a magic story about a kid, or a magic story about a girl, or a magic story about a group of people, or people using magic, but very few mangas are about blind magicians. And specifically, this blind magician is called Magician Kunon Sees Everything. So even though this magician is blind, he or she can see everything. So I want to know what that's about. So, and I also made sure before I went over these different mangas to see which one falls into like if it's something that's questionable, something like ecchi, or if it's something like questionable or harem or anything. I'm not interested in the harem stuff. I'm not interested in the ecchi stuff. Um, so I'm throwing all those out the window. So if I find any of these things within these mangas, they're gonna be short lived. I don't need that stuff. I'm interested in story and characters. That's what I'm interested in. I've always been interested in the stories and characters. Um, it sucks that I have all this noise in the background, but it doesn't matter. I just want to state these within this video right now. So the next of these stories that I'm going to be proceeding towards would probably be, where is it? The next one. Yeah, the Sasuke story. Naruto Sasuke story. So this is Sasuke's story, and it was created by Jun Isaka, and the original guy that created the manga, the Naruto manga, was Masaki Kishimoto. So if anyone doesn't know who Kishimoto is, well, now you know. But I doubt anyone knows who doesn't know who Kishimoto is. Now, I'm not really a big Kishimoto guy, but there are a lot of Kishimoto guys that love his manga style and love his manga art. But I've never really been that much into Kishimoto. I mean, his way of doing manga is better than most manga artists, to be honest with you, and it's very interesting. But it's very it's not the type of style that I'm into. I mean, it's very good, but it's just not the type of style I'm into. So he decided to do this like story, this side story. In fact, he's typically in charge of some side stories, but not all side stories. Um, but I would say for this one, Kishimoto decided he wanted to do. Um, every now and again, he does a light side story, um, and the artwork for this one is done by him, obviously. Um, but the writing for this one is done by uh, Shin uh, to- Shin Towada. Now, even though it says Jun Isaka, it's actually Shin Towada that did the writing for this novel. So I guess you could say it's Jun Isaka and Masashi Kishimoto did the artwork for it, um, or Jun did the illustration for it, and Masashi Kishimoto did the basic penciling and artwork like he always does. But the person that wrote the actually light novel was actually Shin um, Tawada. So he typically does the light novels for Masashi Kishimoto. So and every now and again he does something like that. But I think he's done like at least two projects already with regards to association with Naruto. Um, one was with the Akatsuki. Um, and I think this is the another one that he's done with Kishimoto. So far, I've only seen two with regards to Shin's work. But moving on from that, the next one is Stage 6. This is the next manga I'm going to get into. Now, I have I'm suspicious that this is going to be one of the questionable ones that I might have missed. Then there might be a lot of perversity or stuff inside of this, but I don't know. I got to check it out for myself to find out if Stage 6 does have that weirdness that I might have missed. So this is the only one that I might be missing. Now, I love this art style of Stage 6. I love the art style of Stage 6, and I love this kind of setup of Stage 6. I saw the first chapter. Well, not everything from the first chapter. I saw some of the first images, and I could bypass that and go deeper. I want to know if it gets really dark to the point of disturbing, and that's when I would decide whether I want to recommend this or not. And moving on from that, I already know what this one is about. This one is about a chick that some girl. I wouldn't say a chick. You can't really use chick well, you can do it if you want to, but this one is called The Death Game is all that Saitome-san has left. So basically, it's like every death game. People get kidnapped, they're on the island, and they're forced to play a game. And for some reason, she has something to do with the reason why this game is going on. I don't know the details. I haven't gotten into it yet. Only a few out of these 12 I've gotten into, and this is not one of them. But I want to see where it's going. Now, death games aren't my thing, and I believe they're fading out. But if it's done to the level of something like Battle Royale, like the manga Battle Royale, no matter how dark and disturbing Battle Royale was, if it has heart to its story, I'm gonna get into it because it's not about the blood and it's not about the violence. It's about survival. It's about the heart. It's about who you love, who you care about. It's about what you're willing to do to survive, to help those who you believe deserve to survive. And I don't mean like deserve to survive. I mean who you believe deserve to survive more than you. Putting your best foot forward, being the Samaritan of the group, to create better futures for those who deserve better futures. Who knows? Maybe I'll go that route. Maybe it doesn't go that route whatsoever, and turns out to be a garbage manga. But either way, I'm checking out. Death Game is all that Satomi-san has left. And then next on that, after that, I'm going to check out Records of a Swordman Scholar. This one I believe is Manhwa, not Manhua, is Manhwa, Korean, and it's historically, I wouldn't say 100% historically accurate, but it has a lot of historical representation within the story itself. Basically, it took from a lot of things that happened in history, and it's placed within the fiction of this world. So it's kind of like the French Revolution that is Datoi or Dato. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe it turned out to be bad as well. But either way, Records of a Swordsman Scholar is a manhwa I'm going to check out. And going back to my original routes of the things that I love from the past, I'm going to catch up to what's going on within Ravages of Time. And this is Ravages of Time right here. These are 4 of the 12 geniuses. Now, so far, I've gotten past these 4. Actually, correction, I've gotten past 2, 4, 6. I've gotten past 6 of the 8 geniuses. I said 12. I don't know why I said 12. I've gotten past 6 of the 8 geniuses. So I haven't gotten to finding out the identity of the last genius. I don't think anyone has. But I haven't reached I don't think I've reached the 7th genius yet. And if I did, I might have missed it by skipping a couple of chapters. So I want to see what's going on within Ravages of Time. That was like 2 years ago. I got into Ravages of Time. I want to see what's going on with the Chinese comic Ravages of Time. I want to see how far it's going. And then, last but not least, I want to see what my my long time and my third favorite manga artist of all time, Araki, is doing. I'm desperate to know what Araki's doing. Last thing I heard from Araki, he was doing the paraplegic design of the logo for the Paraplegic Olympics, and that was in 2020. Um, and it was based off of something from his uh, one of his favorite all-time greatest artists from way back in the Edo period, and I'm talking that's way back in the days. It's not like something 100 years ago. Like I think it's called board art or screen board before screen painting and screen designs on paper became a thing. It was more like board art, um, and it was made by, if I remember correctly, uh, Hokusai. If I'm not mistaking his name, it's Hokusai or Hokusai. Yeah, it's Hokusai. All right, like in English you say Hokusai, but I'm pretty sure in the Japanese it's Hokusai. why the EU is silent, but it's Hokusai, and it was an inspiration for Araki to do the whole paraplegic Olympics logo, and that was his art that he did back in 2020. But uh, Hirohiko Araki is not my favorite manga artist of all time, but he is my second favorite manga artist of all time. Um, and I guess you could say Cho Cho is my third favorite manga artist of all time. Um, Not because of his artwork, but because of his actually use of his environment for Ravages of Time. Um, and I guess you would say, I guess I can say, my favorite would probably be, but that's hard to say. I mean, I know Knights of Sidonia and I know Biomega. The artwork for Knights of Sidonia and Biomega aren't better than the artwork for um, JoJo. It's just different. And I know the artwork for, like say, the artwork for uh, Naruto, Kishimoto, is better than that of Nihei. But when it comes to art and artwork that I like to see, it has nothing to do with the prettiness of the characters and how they're made. It has nothing to do with the line work. It has nothing to do with the body manipulation. It has nothing to do with how realistic a character looks. It's about how you map out your world and your characters with your own identity towards it. For instance, Araki's artwork has a specific image, a specific look and identity to it. Though he have very bold lines within his artwork, I tend to do very light lines in my artwork. Even though I sometimes slip and I do bold lines like Araki, Cho tends to do very fine light lines within his artwork. Very fine and light lines within his artwork. And I would say, let me go back up. And then you have Nihei. This isn't Nihei. This isn't the artwork done by Nihei. This is Ito Takemoto's artwork. But Nihei stuff is like it's like this. Nihei artwork is bold like this, very bold, very dark, very depressing, and very secluded and very isolated and very rich with blacks, and have some light, and the lights are just present there to show off the whites versus the blacks. But Nihei's work is far darker than this. He used mostly blacks more than he used whites. But what I'm saying is, I'm going to get into all these 12 of these mangas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Might have skipped over 10, 11. Oh, is it 11? I said 12 is 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's 11. So it's 11 total. So this manga, Alien Area, Danto no Arcade, very intrigued about this. And then Kanan of the Great Snow Sea. So my number one and then my number twos will be Kanan of the Great Snow Sea, Date no Arcade, and Aliens Area. Those are the three I want to see more than anything. And then my fourth would probably be Comic Artist Survival, and my fifth would probably be the Naruto one, to see where they've taken the Sasuke story. But this is more like a novel rather than a manga. So I guess my fifth would probably be Magician Kunan Sees Everything. So that's my setup. If I'm going to read anything first before anything, it would probably be Kanan of the Great Snow Sea. Now, if I find out that it's not really a manga before it became an anime, it's an anime before it became a manga, then my obvious will be Dato no Arcade, and then Aliens Area, or Aliens Area and then Dato no Arcade. But I highly recommend that if you're going to go a violent route of any type of violence in manga, I would go with Aliens Area first, because Dato no Arcade is brutal, like very brutal. So if you want something lighter, go with Kanon of the Great Snow Sea. And if you want something even equal to that light tone, I would go with Comic Artist Survival and Naruto. I mean, because Naruto can be brutal, but not to the brutalness of Dato no Arcade. So these are the mangas I'm going to go through, because I got to see whether these are even worthy to actually put up online and recommend this for people to actually read, because there are going to be people who are going to defy the rules and make their underage children watch this stuff or read this stuff. I'm not going to be the person that say, hey man, hey, check this out, what, read this. If I'm going to state it's for adults and adults only, it's going to be stated. But if it's for everyone, it's going to be stated. So this is mostly for my clan members to know that what's going to be posted for the month of August. But if anyone else just wanted to check out any of these mangas, you could check them out at any time. So I had to go through a barrage of these crazy romance and crazy manga stories just to get to these 12. Just to get to these 12. It's probably more than 100 different romance stories just to get to these 12. And yes, there are a couple of others I might have missed that are right up there as well. But for every one of these mangas, for every one of these ones that I found, there were at least 20 romance stories, 10 or 20 romance stories per. So before I even got to Aliens Era, there was a romance story. Before I even got to Dato no Arcade, there was a romance story. Before I even got to Kano of the Great Snow Sea, or before I even got to a Comic Artist Survival Guide, or even to finding out about Stage S, or to finding out about Records of a Swordsman Scholar, or to go back to my old guy, Ravages of Time, and Jolene Joestar. I mean, not Jolene Joestar, Jojo Lion Joestar. Oh yeah, and I have to say something before I check out. This is um, Araki's last JoJo manga that he did. So I didn't say that before. This is Araki's very last manga that he did back in um, past the 2010s. I believe this was done in 2011, and it ended sometime in 2021. So this series ended about a year and a half ago, sometime in 2021. I think it was early 2021. If I'm not mistaken, it's just been a year. So this ended last year. Plain and simple, that's what I'm going to say. This manga ended last year. This is part 8 of the JoJo story. So the next animation to come out after Stone Ocean, which is airing now on Crunchyroll, I believe, that's not going to end anytime soon. And I think it's on hiatus or something like that. But if it's ending sometime this year, the next one that will be released next year will be Steel Ball Run, and that's part 7 of the manga series. And after that's finished, sometime I'm guessing sometime in 2023, 2024, I believe maybe in 2025, JoJo Lion is going to come out, and this is part 8, the story of JoJo Lion. Now I haven't finished JoJo Lion, to be honest with you. I have not finished JoJo Lion, even though it finished in 2021. I stopped reading it in 2020, and I didn't pick up after 2020. So I have to get back into this to see how it ended. Because as unique as manga characters go, I think JoJo Lion is the most unique of all the JoJo characters. Like, ridiculously unique. Like, he's the first protagonist I've ever seen in JoJo. The very first protagonist in all of JoJo to be wearing a damn sailor uniform while fighting people. I mean, Josuke and Jotaro wearing their different outfits, and even Jolene or even the Joestars from back in the days, they look normal compared to this dude. This dude is fighting dudes wearing sailor outfit. So yeah, Even the Steel Ball Run guy who was wearing like a cowboy type outfit, those are normal. But the fight dudes wearing a sailor outfit, I don't know, man. He's the strangest of all the JoJo Bizarre characters. So that's it for this video. I'm signing off right now. But if anyone that's not part of my clan are interested in any of these mangas, you could check them out. Aliens Area, this one. That didn't know Arcade, not for kids, 100% not for kids. Check that out. Canon of the Great Snow Sea, Common Art of Survival, Survival Guide. Magician Kuno sees everything. Then the Sasuke manga, or no, the Sasuke light novel, and Stage Sick manga, and Death Game is all that Satome has left, and of course Record of Swordsman, the Manhwa, Manhua, and or no, I believe this one is the Manhwa, and then of course Ravages of Time is the Manhua, and of course the last of the mangas was the last thing Araki did, which was part 8 of the JoJo, which is obviously old by now, but it's finally over. It finally ended in 2021. So if you're going to assume that the manga is going to continue, there are going to be more JoJos. There aren't going to be more JoJos. I think JoJo Lion was the last of the manga parts, and Araki's moved on for other things, which is obviously since the last thing is Araki's doing now. I believe he's doing a new project right now with a new anime project. I don't want to say what it is, or a new manga project specifically. I don't want to say what it is if it turns out to be untrue, but it's something he's doing right now. But I don't want to say what it is until I'm sure that it's 100% confirmed. But for right now, I'm going to check out my boy Nihei's stuff because he's probably one of my best artists that I've been reading for years. And of course, I'm going to check out Cho's stuff, which is for Ravages of Time. And then I'm going to check out Araki stuff because I got to keep up with. And of course, that's it. I think the main one I'm going to check out more than anything is Nihei stuff and Aliens Area. And of course, that's all no Arcade. So those are the main ones I'm going to check out. And everything else I'm going to check out sometime down the road. They're probably going to be put into October's manga list or something like that. But for right now, only thing that's going to be released in August for Decline is going to be 2 mangas I select out of these 12. So I got to check out all 11 of them. 2 mangas I got to check out of all 11 of them. And then out of those 2, I would state which is the best of those 2. I mean, they're both going to be good, but I'm going to state which one is the best out of those 2. It's probably gonna be one of the new ones. If Aliens Air is anything I think about to be good, if Date is Datoi no Arcade is good, if Comic Artist Survival is good, it's probably gonna be these 3. It's probably gonna be Aliens Area, Date no Arcade, or kind of the Great Snow Sea, or it's probably going to be Comic Artist Survival Guide. I have a feeling it'll be one out of those 3 or those 4. As the number 1, but who knows? I'm stopping my video right here. It's getting too long. I just want to speak on those things and just need to check one thing, just one last thing for Ravages of Time. Ravages of Time. Yeah, that's what I thought. The artist, yeah, that's what I thought. I'm saying his name all wrong. I keep saying Cho, but it's not Cho, it's Chan. I keep saying Cho. The author is author Chan Mu. Um, I always said Cho for the past 4 years. I've been saying Cho because every time I keep thinking of Cho Yi Jin, because you keep up with that guy's career sometimes, Cho Yi Jin's career. But I keep thinking that Cho Yi Jin is the same as Chan Mo, which is the artist for Ravages of Time, but it's not. Chan Moo's been an artist and been in association with Tong Lee Comics for years, and Tong Lee is one of the most famous comic book companies in all of Hong Kong. So I'm gonna check out where Ravages of Time has been going for quite some time and check out Chan Moo's stuff. But yeah, I believe Chan Moo, Grant Morrison, and probably Araki should get together one day. Obviously, Araki would do the action. Obviously, Grant Morrison would do the look of the characters to make them look detailed as Kanai of the Great Snow Sea looks here. And obviously, Chan Moo is going to do the environment associated with characters. Those three are my top three artists of all times, as well as authors of all times. Chan Moo, Nihei, Araki, and and I said Grant Morrison, but Grant Morrison is American comic book artist. But as I guess I could throw him in there as a fourth. But yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I mean, Jim Lee would be in there somewhere, but yeah, Grant Morrison just a little bit better than Jim Lee. Well, actually, might be a little bit more than a little bit better than Jim Lee. But yo, Jim Lee's Jim Lee. All right. So that's it for this video.